Bang! Neeves Knives, I'm Jared, and today we're checking out something that I've liked since the first time it came out, which is a Shillin cutter by Vosteed, but now in their Vanchor Lock. And I'm going to pull up one of their minis really quick just so you can see the size comparison. There's a whole bunch of different versions of the Shillin cutter or the Nightshade. This one, however, has a unique locking system with lots of deployment options, right? So they had the whole deployment, they had the thumb stud deployment, like on this one's a titanium thumb stud one. And then they had liner lock ones. They had a bunch of different versions. They had some with holes deployments because it works really well. But the design is just an amazing design. The design is just made to be used. Like you can cut down on a flat surface, you can use it for utility cuts, you can trap material in both directions. Any direction you're cutting, the tip is aiming at it. So it's just a very intuitive knife that works well for use. Now, this one is slightly different, and just probably because of the locking system and the different mechanisms, but you could see how this really slides down. This one is a little bit straighter, but it still has the same idea and same concept, and it is still arching. So it still is trapping. You see how the blade's kind of aimed towards me, and in this case, away from me. So it's going to trap material when you cut with it. I can tell why Spyderco shape is so popular. If you look, there's a lot of similarities between Spyderco knives shape because they have a lot of knives with this shape and the Shillin cutter. This one is the Sage 5 and Rex 121. Like I said, they have a lot of knives with a similar shape. And this is just a design that just happens to work extremely well for cutting purposes. So I can tell why the Spyderco knives have been so popular, and also why this thing works so well. Now, this one having the multiple forms of deployment, I love that. I always love to see lots of deployment options. 154 cm with damn near a polished satin fin. Like, it is a very fine satin. Let's take a look at that. Look at that satin. I mean, it's literally like a mirror. I mean, it is very, very fine. I like it though. 154 cm, like I said. The edge is very sharp. I do not know the edge angle that they sharpen it at, but it's a decent edge. Nice jimping right there and right there for the choke up. If you really need a choke up like that, or just a little pinch, these things are great for utility cuts. Now, the G10 in this case is orange. Not a big fan of the orange, but I mean, whatever. Maybe I need an orange knife in my life right now. Lots of milling on the inside with the liners. As you can see, we have a steel deep carry pocket clip that's inset with flat screws, not reversible. They should have made a reversible clip because this is an ambidextrous knife. And it is coming soon. Well, depending on when you're watching this, it is coming soon. So it's not available just yet when I'm filming this. So check the links down in the description because I don't know when you're watching this. It'll be available soon. The action, let's talk about the action, then we'll get into some nitpicks and the lock. Actually, you know what? Let's get into the lock really quick. So the lock, I actually have a full video talking about the Vanchor Lock. It is a button, what would you call it? A button pivot lock, or a pivot button lock, right? Then that's hooked to a liner that has a big old chunk of steel that falls into this groove right there. And I'm going to show it to you from this direction so you can see it. Okay, so the liner's on this side, and hopefully you can see it right there. See that little block moving? Right there's a wedge. Now it's not. So that right there, that thing right there is the lock, which it does make a pretty good contact point considering it's falling into that groove. Theoretically, it should work well, and it also gives you really good access to putting oil in your pivot. And it also allows it to have a perfect detent. So basically, like, the best detents typically come from frame and liner lock knives or compression lock knives. And this has a very similar detent to those. So that's what you can expect, which makes it to where the detent has a nice break for all forms of deployment, whether it's the thumb studs, which work very well, They're placed in a pretty nice spot. You'd think you'd hit this corner, but I absolutely have no frustrations with hitting that corner at all. Then you have the front flipper, not the sharpest jimping in the world, but just because of the arch, because it's angled and it goes all the way up and over the top of this, it flies, man. That thing works great. And then you have a little minimal flipper tab with amazing jimping. I'm surprised they didn't put the same jimping on this, but as you can see, it works really well. Now you can't push button this, otherwise it will come around and hit you, so you light switch it. And it works great. Stop pin is the same stop pin for the open and the closed, which we obviously are going to talk about. TA hardware all the way around. Love to see that. And this is a fairly strong locking system for a pocket knife. I'm not saying it's like a fixed blade or anything, but for a little light duty knife like this, that's gonna be a super tough lock. Because it's not like this is something you going crazy over. So it does have a crown spine too, which is really nice. Like I said, the ergos are great, but here you go. You can accidentally hit the button if you're choked up like this, but also you know you're hitting the button. So does it matter at that point? Because if I did go like this, I would just adjust. I would adjust and make sure that I'm not gonna hit it like that. But if you do land right on it, yes, you could hit it. But, you know, like I said, I wouldn't do that. And if I was gonna go like this and really have to bear down, I'd just go like, you know, I just do it a little different or choke back or something. And it's not like this is a knife you're sitting there feather sticking with all day. Like I keep telling them, I want to see them do an XL version of the Nightshade or of the Shillin cutter design, because it would do really well, because the design is just great for so many uses. So for a large knife, this would be a super useful design. Now, next negative thing is the stop pin placement. Now, it's not horrifying. I want to be clear. It's not a deal breaker at all, because I know we've seen a bunch of deal breakers. It actually falls right there, right where you'd want to see it if it was going to be back here. So it does hit right there, but you're never going to sharpen into that. So no problems with that. If you wanted to cut in your own sharpening choil, yes, you could still do it. You just got to make sure you stay in front of the plunge grind, which is not that big of a deal, but it's just an observation. So if you want to cut in a choil, you don't have all the room in the world. You are going to have to, not hit where the stop pin lands. Next thing is, again, no lefty clip. They should have gave a lefty option. That's kind of a huge miss on their end, because lefties don't have that many knives. So they need, the times when it's an ambidextrous lock, that's when knife companies should take advantage of doing a lefty option. Yeah. All in all, love the Shillin cutter. I think it's an awesome, awesome knife. I've loved every version pretty much that has come out. And I have a ton of them. So, it's something that I've tested. I have reviews on, and you can go and watch them. When this drops, maybe I'll pull out a whole bunch of them and we'll do a full video on a bunch of different ones. But as you can see, man, there is a new version that I think is going to be pretty popular. I think people are going to really like this. I'm not sure about the color option, but hey, there you guys go. Work hard, stay tough. Till next time, peace.